wherever it is, wherever you are. It's me again, Jen. Hello! And happy spooky season. I love October. I love spooky season. I love Halloween. I love all of the things that are spooky and scary and gothic and weird and dark. And because most of my wardrobe has a lot of that stuff in it, I love this season because I get to wear all my skulls and things and nobody looks at me sideways. They just think it looks really cool for the season. And for the season, we are looking at the Witch's Tarot, which is a tarot deck I've had in my collection for quite some time, and I really enjoy it, but it has got some very photorealistic nudity in it, so I've been a little hesitant to look at this deck at random on YouTube and hopefully not get busted for, nudity and things like that on here. I have pulled most of the cards that would get me into trouble out of the deck, so I'm not playing with a full deck this month. When am I ever? So without further ado, let's see what card we have from the Witch's Tarot today. All right. Oh, good. Okay, so we are talking about this card, the Wheel of Fortune, all month long, actually, because it is the 10th month, and this is the 10th card in the Major Arcana, which I'm going to talk about that in just a second, too. But, yeah, I know it's a little on the nose to talk about the 10th card in the Major Arcana in the 10th month, but makes it easy for my students in Tarot Cafe. So we are talking all month long about the Wheel of Fortune, and this one is actually number 11 it has on there. So for some reason, this deck counts some of the cards a little bit weird. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but yeah, this one is the 11th card in the wheel or in the Major Arcana rather than the 10th. Technically speaking, it's always the 11th card because the Fool is a 0 and it is the first card in the scope of the Arcana. So I guess it's always the 11th card, but I don't know. It's super confusing. Either way, typically it is number 10 because 10s are that revolution, they are that reset sort of thing. You come full circle at 10 and you start back over again. That is, of course, because we live in a base 10 system. I don't know, big, long, geeky explanation. Skip past it. Here we go. All right. The Wheel of Fortune in this case does not have as many animals or animal-like creatures on it. It has just people. More specifically, it has just women. And I really dig this because, yes, the Witch's Tarot does lean heavily on a more feminine symbolism, which is nice because, let's be real, the traditional Rider-Waite decks are a little more masculine in their symbolism, except for in the places they really can't be. So this is a nice little change of pace without changing the meaning of the card or the look of the card. So as you can see, we've got the baby and the child and kind of the maiden, as well as the mother and the crone over here. And yeah, I think that's it. So you have your full circle of life. The only thing there isn't is like actual death or somebody in repose of death, shall we say. I know the older woman, the elder right here, she does have her eyes closed, so it does kind of convey that energy. But I really love the fact that this just shows the cycle of life and how it just continues back and forth and back and around again. I also do like that it shows the feminine symbolism because of the maiden mother crone aspect of the witchcraft and all of that kind of stuff. So that's nice. That is extra nice. So one of the neat things I want to point out with this one is that the mother is the only one that is fully grounded, that is earth. So mother and earth are both very tied together in a tangible way on this card. Am I reading into it? Possibly, but I think I'm reading into it well. Either way, I like that the mother aspect is the one that is grounded to Mother Earth. I think that's really cool. So all of these things represented on here, usually you'd see the lion and the bull and the raptor bird, usually an eagle of some kind, are also represented. In this case, it's a very human experience of the cycle because, again, the wheel is about our cycle. It is about the feminine cycle, which also can be represented in this, but also about cycle in terms of life. So there's a time for everything in a season, all those kinds of things. I won't completely quote the song, but we are all born and we all die and we all go through these experiences in life. Not everyone becomes a mother in the more traditional sense of the biological terminology of mother, but a lot of us do kind of have that maternal push for something, be that our job or our passions or other people's children or our own children or our pets or whatever that may be. We all go through that phase. The only phase that is not represented here is the warrior, the fighter. And I kind of wish that it was. It's not a typical feminine represented archetype, but it's current enough and it's often enough represented that I think that it should be on this card because it kind of represents everything else. Also, it represents infancy and childhood as kind of two separate things, as well as the maiden isn't even quite like of the maiden age of like giving birth and all of those kinds of things. She's almost too young. I feel like there's a lot of emphasis on the younger half or the more youthful childhood side of our experiences and not as much on the more adult side. So I really would have liked to have seen some sort of warrior depicted here or a woman who is protective in some way because we all go through that phase as well where we kind of have this deep fire and passion inside of us and then we move on. And all of those things are typically represented in the animals on the four corners of the wheel. And yet here we are trying to represent all of these different things and we've stolen away the feminine aspect of that. And that's the one thing I'm a little like, my inner feminist is freaking out a little bit about that. That we have the feminine energy being very demure, very childish, very naive, and then very maternal and very old. So like, I'm in between on this card. I really love it. I do think that it definitely depicts that cycle, which, as again, we're talking about the Wheel of Fortune all month during Tarot Cafe, and we've mentioned change and transition and metamorphosis and, just cycle and all of those kinds of things. And that is definitely represented on this card. So my only thing would be add a warrior in there. Maybe someday I will draw one in there. No, I won't. I have a hard time editing my cards like that. But either way, I like this card. I like that it represents all of those things. And yeah, I definitely think that it still holds all of the essence of the meaning and symbolism of the Wheel of Fortune card. So I hope you enjoyed that card and I hope you come back for many, many more. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay spooky.